Every day, we ask ourselves one of life's great questions. Why are we here? What's the point of life? How did I get this rash? But the most important question of the day is why in the blue hell have there been 5 Resident Evil movies? My review for Resident Evil Redemption is next. I had no interest whatsoever in seeing this movie, but it was the only wide release this weekend, so I ended up seeing it, and my expectations were the worst. Well, it didn't disappoint.
My name is Alice.
Alice, how nice to see you again.
What the hell is going on here?
We have you under all control.
The story once again follows Alice, who's played by the intensely attractive Mila Jovovich, and this time she's imprisoned inside a facility built by the Umbrella Corporation. The film actually starts off okay. It starts off with this really cool slow motion sequence that shows how Alice got into this facility. It's actually really well done. I was pretty entertained by it. And then when she wakes up in the facility, she has this really kind of cool fight sequence with one of the former employees at Umbrella. It's actually really well done. I gotta give credit to the choreographers. They did a really good job with it. But the sad news is that was the end of any possibility of having a good experience. Okay, here's the story. Alice is in this facility that's built by the Umbrella Corporation, and they built these rooms inside the facility that are used to replicate a lot of these major cities. I mean, you have Tokyo, New York City, Moscow, and basically these places are filled with clones to look like real people. And what they do is they sell these designs for these rooms to Japan, to Russia, to the United States, and they use them for mainly to protect themselves from this virus that is affecting the world as we speak. And how exactly do they explain this story to the audience? Poorly. First of all, we have Alice in the sequence explaining, literally, to the audience the entire history of the series. I mean, why? I understand what they're doing. They want to get people who haven't seen all the films caught up, but it's just so bad. So then Albert Wesker shows up, who is Alice's archenemy. He shows up on this computer screen and he starts telling Alice about the history of the facility that she is in, why it was built, what's going on, and what she needs to do to escape. So the screenwriters figure, you know what, instead of actually showing the audience what this film is about, and instead of actually, maybe creating a decent narrative, what we're gonna do is we're gonna write a bunch of crappy dialogue to describe to them what was going on, and then we'll just dive into a bunch of action. Yeah, real great screenwriting there. Okay, now I understand that this film is not made for critics. It's not gonna be extreme high quality. It's not gonna win any Academy Awards or anything. I understand that. I understand that the makers of the film just want to create a fun experience for the audience with some action and some excitement. I understand that. But they can't even do that right. There is this car chase in which Alice and her friends are trying to get away from one of these monsters that were created from the virus. You can tell that the car was CGI. I mean, that is some real Sci-Fi Channel level crappiness. Side note, you ever have that awkward moment when you're going to a movie and the previews preluding it are like 10 times better than the actual movie? The writing is a top-notch failure. All the dialogue is pretty much just bad, and Alice has these friends who follow her around, and all they do is spit out one-liners, and you know nothing about them. You really don't even know anything about Alice. And this just transcends into bad acting. I mean, it's hard to have good acting when the script is terrible. And the fact of the matter is, even though Jovovich has been in 5 straight of these movies, and she should know how the character thinks and how they react to certain situations, she still sounds like she just had a table reading, and a really bad table reading at that.
My name is Ada Wong, operative for the Umbrella Corporation, one of Albert Wesker's top agents. I know exactly who and what you are. Now the real question is, why don't I just cancel your contract right now?
I don't work for Umbrella anymore. And neither does Albert Wesker.
Let me tell you a story. After I saw this movie, I went outside and I saw this fender bender between these 2 old guys. So these 2 guys in their late 70s come out and they start arguing. So here I am, standing there, I'm watching these two guys, high 70s, get in a fight over some scratch marks on their Lincoln. That was more entertaining than this entire movie. So please, do not go see this film. It's not worth it. I'm only going to give it a half a star. And really that half star is just for some of the choreography that I enjoyed. But that's all it's going to get, is a half a star out of it, because it's not worth it. $65 million were put into this movie, and really they could have used that $65 million to fund 10 to 20 quality, low-budget films. Even just go out and find films already made and promote them, but they didn't do that. They spent $65 million on this piece of crap, which will lose money. There's no way this thing is making $65 million in the US. Maybe it might make it in worldwide, so I guess they probably won't make money back on this, but really, not worth it. Do not go see it. So, once again, thank you. I'm Brian Duskey, and if you want a more detailed review, go over to griffonnews.com, or you can check out the September 20th issue of the Griffon News.